Cleveland 911, what's your emergency?
My firing shot. They shot him in the car. Orange color vehicles.
When detectives arrived to the scene, they learned from patrol that the driver of the vehicle was rushed to the hospital where he expired. He's identified as Raphael Carter. He recently obtained his business degree. He's 26 years old and leaves behind 2 children and a fiance. As they're investigating the scene, they find 2 casings, 380s, and shattered glass on the ground. Then a detective gets some information from a neighbor. She said the car pulled up. About 15 minutes go by, and a guy walks up to the car and starts yanking on the car door. Then he steps back and let the oo-wop loose through the window, then walks away. Then Raphael's best friend Marcos speak to detectives. He said they pulled up in park. He was going in the house over there to get tattooed. When he got to the back of the house, he heard the oo-wop go off. He comes out and see a guy running. The detective asked, what does the guy look like? Marcos said he had all black on. He was dark-skinned with a mustache, but he didn't see him with the oo-wop. So the detective asked Marcos, why did he get hit with the oo-wop? Marcos said there's a lot of people that don't like us, and there's plenty of guys that would do something to him. So they get Marcos' cell phone number and the victim's number and let him go. But they believe it's either a bad deal or Marcos set him up.
Let's get a little more information before we talk to him again.
Dope deal, right? Or he set him up. This kid set him up.
So they head back to the station, send over search warrants to get the victim and Marcos' phone records. While waiting to get the records, they head to the impound lot to check the vehicle. They find nothing but red on the driver's seat. So they wrap that up, head back to the station. Then Marcos' cell records come in. They see 20 to 35 calls to a number before and after the incident. Raphael was hit with the oo-wop at 10:33 a.m. Then Marcos called that number 3 times. So they try to identify the phone number.
At 10:33 in the morning, the next 3 phone calls from Marcos are to this number. Marcos knows his friend's been shot, and he's calling this number. So
couldn't find anything in the police database. So they get Marcos to come to the station and present him with the phone records. He said that he doesn't know the number. Then detectives tell him there's a lot of talking between the 2 of you. Marcos then says that's the loud guy. His name is Jay. The detective tell him you called the guy 30 to 35 times in an hour for loud. Marcos said he was trying to get something big. So they leave that interview really not believing Marcos. They figure right after your best friend expired, you trying to get loud. That doesn't make sense. But they don't have enough to hold him. So they let Marcos go. Then the detectives get a call that the phone number Marcos called came up in an unrelated investigation. The guy name is Kirk Thompson. He's 23 years old with convictions for trafficking, possession, and weapons. So they called an eyewitness from the crime scene to see if she can ID Kirk as the guy who committed the crime. She picks Kirk Thompson out, and they issue a warrant for him.
because from what we hear, Kirk Thompson is crazy. He's like the worst of the worst. Or he's his boy.
Then they bring Marcos back to the station. They start by letting Marcos know that the 35 calls he made was not to the loud guy. They know exactly whose number that is. Marcos said that he wouldn't lie, so they let him know that they're giving him an opportunity to help himself. Marcos said that he's not hiding anything from them. Then the detectives asked him why are the first 3 calls that you made after your best friend was hit with the oo-wop was to the guy who did it. Marcos said his story isn't changing, so they let Marcos go, continue to search for Kirk. Then the detectives get a call saying that Marcos was just hit with the oo-wop in the leg, hip, and spine. He's in a coma now.
It's critical. He got shot in the leg, the hip, and then the one in the spine. Yeah. It's crazy.
Then the U.S. Marshals snatched Kirk up in Bankhead, Georgia. Kirk lawyered up, so they didn't get a chance to speak with him. But Kirk Thompson was eventually found guilty of the M of Raphael Carter. A year after the M, the sentencing hearing begins. The judge asked Kirk, is there anything that he would like to say before sentencing? He said no. So now the judge let the family of Raphael speak.
You took a good son away. You can't never do enough time for that.
I'm the mother of Raphael. You don't know what this has done to me. All I do is cry.
Combined
combined with an additional gun charge, Thompson is sentenced to a total of 30 years to life.
Thank you for watching. Leave me some comments. Hit that like button. Stay safe out there. I'm done talking.